and more rain on Friday. Heidi.
Thanks, Tina. The lazy days of summer, if you can call them that, are coming to a close, which means kids are going to have to get back into the habit of hitting the books. But after a few months of lounging around, watching television and playing sports, it may be tough to get those study habits back on track. There are things parents can do to help in the transition from summertime to study time. So this morning, we're kicking off a series of back-to-class preparation segments with Oxford Learning, and Laura Lee Burgess of Oxford and Halifax joins us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Isn't it hard to believe we're getting there? Isn't it a little too early, though, to start thinking about studying?
Oh, it's really never too early. It's just around the corner, a couple weeks away, so now is the time to really start getting into it and get back into that routine.
I suppose the longer you leave the routine, the harder it is to get into it, right?
Absolutely.
So what are some things parents can do before classes actually start?
Well, some of those things, we have about 2 weeks to go. So things like bedtime routines, eating properly, those sorts of things. Oftentimes in the summer, we don't really stick to much of a schedule, so if we can get kids back into knowing what to expect, getting up at a regular time every day, going to bed at a decent time, that's definitely going to help, as opposed to leaving it to the day before school starts.
Right, exactly. So you can start that now.
Definitely.
Sorry, kids. What about setting up a space for study? I mean, because by now it's probably devolved into a space for something else, I'm sure.
Right. Those are things we always suggest that kids have what we call study stadium or sort of homework habitat. Have a space where they're going to do their homework, where they have all the tools that are needed. So things like pencils, calculators, erasers, rulers, whatever it is that you need, dictionary. Have it in one place so that they can come home, sit down, take their books out, get to work, as opposed to having to look around the house and find things that they need.
Yeah, so I suppose you can even get that set up now.
Absolutely.
And ready to go.
Yeah, when you're buying school supplies, get those
things. Kids must be hating listening to this, right? Because I'm talking about getting your homework habitat ready, but it's easier to have it done now. When it comes to the homework habitat, I do have a question about music and background noise.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Or some kids, I mean, I always found I needed that to study.
Right.
It was too quiet, it was weird.
Yeah, and some kids do. I think that it's important that kids learn how to work with distractions. So if there's some background music going on, there's studies that show that classical music actually helps with studying and concentrating. So, you know, it really all depends on what you're listening to, but if it's something that, you know, can kind of drown out other noises in the background, then that certainly might help.
Just keep it to a moderate level. Okay,
Absolutely.
Once classes start, what are some things parents can do early on to help?
Well, again, getting into that routine, start the school year off right by using an agenda. So getting into the habit of writing things down, making sure that you're getting done what needs to be done. Also, set a regular time for homework. So instead of it just being whenever you can get to it, you know, make it every day after school. It's easier to get into a routine if it's at the same time. And
do you set a window of time for homework, or how do you know how long it should take? I mean, I guess it's as long as it takes.
Well, yes and no. You know, having a student sit down for an hour to do something that really should only take 10 minutes is only going to cause frustration. So the rule of thumb we use is about 10 minutes per grade level. So grade 1, 10 minutes, and add 10 minutes per grade. You know, you don't want your kids spending hours and hours doing homework. If it's taking that long, then there may be a bigger issue there that you need to address.
You need to look at. A lot of parents accompany their kids during homework time. You know, they sit there. How involved should a parent be?
Well, that's an interesting question. So parents should be there as a support, answering questions, guiding the students, but not doing it for them. So there's actually, in the study that was just released, it shows that 25% of parents are actually doing their child's homework and projects. So that's a bit much. We want some guidance, you know, be there to answer questions, lead them in the right direction, but certainly don't do it for them.
Don't be doing that project for them. That's competitive parents, I think. They just can't help themselves, but it's better if they don't. All right, well, we will have more with Oxford Learning over the next few weeks, getting ready for classes, and then once classes start. So I appreciate you coming in this morning with just this a little leg up in getting prepared for back to school. OxfordLearning.com is the place to go for more information about Oxford Learning, and you can connect with us anytime. Hey, maybe you want to share your study habits with us. We're on